45 minutes, putting you on the pulse of everything you need to know about the world of sport, local as well as international. And what a great weekend it was. Dynamos settling for a point with Jairus Kasondo's equalizing goal against Highlanders at Barbourfields Stadium.
Dynamos come in now. They come! It's a goal! Jairus Kasondo, and he scores for Dynamos. Timba scoring here at Barbourfields Stadium to bring parity.
How important that goal will be, we'll know in a minute, because as things stand after Bikita Minerals win earlier this afternoon, Dynamos have not made progress. If anything, they've sunk to third from the bottom in the Castle Lager Premier Soccer League. Out in Germany, Borussia Dortmund's Job Bellingham made a costly error in Der Klassiker to hand Bayern Munich victory.
Still Diaz. He's done really well. Could be an own goal. Oh, it has gone in! It's a horrible moment for Bellingham. It's a horrible moment for Dortmund. But that could be the goal that wraps up Der Klassiker.
And in arguably the biggest game of the weekend at Anfield, Harry Maguire, yes, you heard right, Harry Maguire broke Manchester United's 9-year winless run on Merseyside.
Harry Maguire almost ominously makes his way up into the penalty area. Bruno Fernandes, Harry Maguire! It's another Harry Maguire header! And Manchester United prize the lead back at Anfield again!
Chris sitting here with a big smile on her face. Barry Manandi, not so. Chris, huge win for United.
Major move. I think when we just take a look at how the season's panned out, even how the season ended last season, this is a really big win. I think if you had gone to the betting house on this one, probably cashed in a lot.
Big cash in if you did bet for Manchester United. And as for Dynamos, Barry, how important will that point be? Because at the moment, Dynamos seem to have gone backwards as far as the log standings are concerned, with just 3 matches left to play.
They have, but I think it's a step back after a significant step forward, because that point, putting them on 34 points, means that they're a clutch of 4 teams that are all on 34 points. The next match day becomes absolutely key. Win that, you go to 37, you're out of the relegation zone, you're a little more comfortable. So I think that that point in hindsight might be quite important.
Well, we've got at least a couple of weeks to go, unless they're midweek matches, until we hit the next match day. Of course, next weekend we've got cup action, and Dynamos and Highlanders will have to do it all over again, this time at Rufaro Stadium in the semi-finals of the Chibuku Super Cup. We'll be discussing all that and more on today's edition of ZiFM Sport. But before we get there, let's give you, of course, our power play before we give you a local sports news roundup with Chris.
The Power Play on ZiFM Sport. Manic Monday.
Let's give you a local sports news roundup, starting off with some cricket news. The Zimbabwe Chevrons made a positive start against Afghanistan on the first day of their one-off test at Harare Sports Club, following some impressive performances with both bat and ball. Brad Evans had 5, 4, and Blessing Zarabani picked up 3 wickets as the visitors were bundled out for 127 runs inside 32 overs. At stumps, Chevrons are leading by 3 runs as a half-century of 52 not out from Ben Curran and Nick Welch's 49 saw Zimbabwe close play on 132 for 2. In hockey news, Zimbabwe's under-21 women's hockey team will now take part in the upcoming FIH Hockey Women's Junior World Cup in Santiago, Chile, after a timely government intervention rescued their campaign. The tournament runs from the 1st to the 13th of December, featuring 24 teams from across the globe. Zimbabwe had initially pulled out on Friday, citing financial challenges, but the withdrawal was reversed after the Ministry of Sport, Recreation, Arts and Culture stepped in to cover the costs. It's unfortunate that a team has to get to this point before any kind of intervention, but I think it's good that the ministry step in and the team is going to be able to perform on the global stage.
Yeah, certainly. I think the ministry making a timely intervention at the last minute. The sad thing is that I'm not sure whether any overtures were done before we got to this point. And I would like to see our NSAs and the ministry front-footing it a little bit more. And
you know what I would like to see further is that the ministry itself should actually have a budget for teams competing
Yeah,
at
when
World
they
Cups.
qualify for World
Agreed.
Cups,
Yeah.
Nations
And
Cup,
that-
It shouldn't take proposals and so forth.
And so on.
It should
Yes.
actually be a reward for teams that are
That
going to
qualify
compete
for
at
World Cup.
major
Showpieces.
tournaments.
Yes.
Yeah.
To actually have a budget, a stipend that comes in from governments. We see that a lot with teams from West Africa.
Yeah,
for tournaments
yeah.
like AFCON and the World Cup, where the
Yeah.
government will step in.
100%.
Let's finish off with some martial arts news. Team Zimbabwe delivered an outstanding performance at the ICO World Championships in Wales, claiming an impressive 43 medals, 14 gold, 18 silver and 11 bronze. Led by Wilfred Mashaya, the team of 8 young athletes showcased remarkable talent, discipline and determination on the global stage, bringing immense pride to Zimbabwe. Among the standout performers were Takudzwa Chizema, who earned 3 gold and 3 silver medals, and Tandeka Moyo, who also secured 3 gold and 3 silver.
ZiFM Stereo is untouchable.
We take off in India, where 4-time champions England booked their ticket to the semi-finals of the Women's Cricket World Cup after pulling off a nail-biting 4-run win over hosts India in Indore last night. In news from Australia, Molly McCallaghan and Kaylee McCown have launched Australia's post-Ariane Titmus era in style by smashing short-course world records at the World Cup meet in Westmont. In Kazakhstan, Daniil Medvedev won his first title in 2 years by defeating Frenchman Corentin Moutet 7-5, 4-6, 6-3 in the final of the ATP 250 tournament in Almaty. And in the United States, where we touched on, Max Verstappen claimed a dominant United States Grand Prix victory ahead of Lando Norris as the pair made significant inroads into Oscar Piastri's driver championship lead. Don't miss the full details of that one on tomorrow's show, Sizimoko Formula One report.
And yes, it came together for Man United fans over the weekend. We know you are waiting. The platform is open. Send your messages 0772 168 045. Gloating aloud. So, please, this may be one of the few times that you have, of course, to gloat this season. So make sure you come in early on that number 0772 168 045. We're also available across all socials. Simply search for @ZiFM Sport. Or if you want to interact with us in our individual capacities, search for us by name: Barry Manandi, Chris Midzi, Alois Munjira, Sean Tafirinika, and myself, Mike Madodo. We, of course, are kicking off in the Castle Lager Premier Soccer League, and there was action earlier this afternoon to round off the match day, and relegation threatened Bikita Minerals have given their survival hopes a boost following a thumping 3-0 win over Herentals at Sakubva to wrap up match day 31. Goals from Spencer Mugariri, Tinashe, Ruzive and Tinaye Tsimba. So Bikita climbed from 16th to 12th with just 3 matches remaining this season. What an important result, Barry Manandi, for Bikita Minerals. They were deep in the relegation zone, and just shows you the value of winning at this stage of the season.
And the jeopardy that exists at the bottom of the league table, because you win a match and you jump 4-5 positions at a go. So there's a lot of football to be played in this relegation battle, and I think Bikita has just been has just exemplified that very point by beating Herentals 3-0 this afternoon. Phenomenal result for them. They've richly deserved it all season long. We've always said they've played some really, really sweet stuff. Now it's rewarded them.
Well, that result saw Manica Diamonds slip into the relegation zone, with Dynamos sinking even further into 16th position after dropping 2 points at Barbourfields versus Highlanders. It's a match we'll talk about in a minute. Bikita Minerals are now away to Dynamos in the next game in the league. That is the classic relegation 6-pointer.
I know,
Alois,
man.
that's a game that neither side can afford to lose. It's a game where at some point even a point will be considered a good result by either side.
Yeah, this is a big game, Mike. I still think that even a point each can actually be disastrous for them, because they are both fighting for survival, and the win, it's probably a must for both, and especially for Dynamos. They need to get out of there.
8 teams in it,
They need to get out of there, and I see this as the it game for Dynamos. Because once they lose this one, with 2 matches left, anything can happen. You can actually already write obituaries for Dynamo.
We wrote them
Dynamos.
ages ago.
No, not yet. Not yet.
Not
Not
yet.
yet.
I
Not
read
yet.
it.
Are they-
Remember, if they win this one, they jump out of that relegation zone
And
again. Because
they go to 37 points.
yes,
They-
exactly.
Depending
on the
what
other
results
teams
above them.
On the
are
other,
doing.
other
Yeah.
results.
Because
Yes.
there are no guarantees at the
too much.
moment.
No,
You know, Dynamos fans were celebrating what looked like a good point
Yeah.
versus
But in the
Highlanders
end,
at
it wasn't
Barbourfields.
really a
But
good
in the
point.
end, it wasn't really a good point.
It
But,
wasn't.
I'll hear your perspective in a minute. But of course, so Bikita Minerals have got Dynamos in the next game. Then they host Simba Bhora, and then they'll end the season versus Manica Diamonds. It could be a shootout.
Another
for
shootout
survival
as well.
at that
Yeah.
game, on Matchday 34 in the Castle Lager Premier Soccer League. But undoubtedly, the biggest game of the match day, the biggest game of the season was at Barbourfields, where Dynamos went to Emagumeni needing a win to climb out of the relegation zone. Instead, they played out to a 1-0 draw against Highlanders that felt like a defeat. For Dimbare, it was another story of wasted chances, soft defending, and frustration for a team once feared across the country, but now fighting to avoid the drop. After the game, coach KK, Kelvin Kayindu, didn't hide his frustration.
It's a good point for us. Before the games were played, I think we had dropped back into the relegation, but this point also moves us a bit. But I think looking at the way we played in the open play, I think we had more chances, probably two good chances in the second half, 1v1 with the keeper that hit the post. With a bit of luck, if we were a bit composed when we entered, I think in the final third or in the box, just a bit of composure and finishing. But in a game like this, a point is always better than nothing.
Dimbare, of course, getting a point at Barbourfields Stadium. 17th minute, Highlanders getting the lead, Chris, against, what could have been seen as the run of play, because Dynamos had enjoyed a very strong start. Brian Molochwa latching on to the end of Endrum Beba set piece and then giving Highlanders the lead. But Jairus Kasondo, he had a speculative effort, deflection, deceived Arios Banda, and Dynamos equalized. So it ended one apiece, but both teams having chances, but it was Dynamos that I think had the better of the chances, and they would have felt that 3 points was possible at Barbourfields.
I think definitely, and I think that's also why KK is particularly frustrated, is because this game was within reach. Even if you are playing at Barbourfields Stadium, I think against a revived Highlander side under their... Is he a new coach? We call him a new coach.
Peter de Jong.
Peter de Jong, new coach. It's still a game that I think was in Dynamo's hands, and unfortunately it slipped away because they unfortunately were not clinical enough. But this, I think they're going to be ruining those 2 points that they missed just because of those chances.
But it's a place that they've struggled, Alois, in recent seasons. So there's some who say, going to Barbourfields hasn't been easy for Dynamos in recent seasons. So the point may be a good one, because at the end of the day, they also kept Highlanders within that relegation dogfight.
It has never been easy for Dynamos in recent years, and from the onset you can actually think that it's a good point gained, but it can only be a good point gained when you look at the bigger scheme of things at the end of the season. That's when we're going to go back and say, was it a point gained or they lost 2 points out there? So for us, for now, we are putting that 1 point in the bag and say at least it was a point gained, but we will revisit this game and think again, Matt, was it really a point gained or 2 points lost?
Can I visit the game before the end of the season?
I want to visit at the end.
Because I have a theory.
But it was a good result for them overall, to be honest. Going to Barbourfields and getting a point, I think it was a
You know
good
what, Alois? I look at it, past record, like Mike was saying, difficult place to travel. They haven't won there and haven't got a positive result in a long time. They get a draw that puts Dynamos onto 34 points. 34 points is the same number of points as Manica, Greenfield, Triangle. That's 4 teams that are all sitting on 34 points. It would have been a disaster for me if Dynamos was sitting on 33 with these teams on 34. The reason why that is that going into the last 3 games of the season, Dynamos still has the wherewithal, still has it in their own hands to get out of the relegation mire. They get a result out of Bikita Minerals.
They're out of it.
They're into 37 points. Hopefully, results would have gone their way. But right now, they're right in the mix. So for me, don't get
Yeah,
beaten
stay in
at
touch.
this stage. Stay in
Stay in
touch.
touch.
That's
Yeah.
it.
Let's
Yeah,
take a
stay in
look
touch.
at those teams on 34 points. Like Barry's saying, Dynamos is still within touching distance of safety, just separated from safety by goal difference. And that's the point I want to bring up, because Dynamos got 34 points, goal difference -7.
Yeah.
Manica, 34 points, goal difference -5. Greenfield, 34 points, goal difference -2 after their thumping 5-0 win over the weekend.
Over the weekend, yeah.
Triangle, 34 points, goal difference of 0. So Triangle's definitely got +1.
They've got a point.
because,
They've got a
because,
point.
because of their goal
Yes.
difference. Now, that result against Greenfield, I think that Greenfield result that they got over the weekend was a big result for
Major.
them, because they were able to work on that goal difference, which was similar to Dynamos, because going into this game, they were also on -7.
-7, yeah.
Dynamos now may find themselves in a situation where if they're tied with any of those teams,
They're going down.
they're going to go down.
They're
Yeah.
going down, yeah.
So they actually have to get a better points haul than the
Yeah,
teams
than to
around
the
them.
level.
Yes, I'll certainly agree with that assertion. It's going to take points to get Dynamos out. Dynamos can't rely on goal difference for two reasons. The first one is the obvious one that you pointed out, that their goal difference is so bad. The second one is that Dynamos isn't scoring goals.
Yeah.
When they're winning games, they're winning 1-0
by
or
the
whatever
odd
the
goal.
case may be, by the odd goal.
Yeah.
So consequently, they're not going to climb out of that -7. So they are going to have to get the points. I believe they've got. I think in their last 3 games, they've got 2 of the teams that are in the relegation
Yeah. And
zone.
then
Which is
FC
actually good for them.
Then FC
and then
Platinum.
FC Platinum on the last match day. So they need to get to Mandava.
When they're already
Safe.
Where they're safe.
Yeah.
the seats.
So the next game after the
Are they going to
Chibuku,
Mandava?
Mati?
Are they going to Mandava?
I think they're.
Or they got 3 Harare games.
They're going
3
to-
Harare games would
No,
be
they've got
good for
Harare
them.
games. They've got
You know,
Harare
they've
games
got
because
3
FC Platinum comes
Yeah,
here.
they've got 3 Harare games.
Yeah.
That'll be
Chris,
good for them.
is that a big advantage for Dynamos,
Definitely.
knowing that the 3 games left, they are all going to be in Rufaro Stadium?
Absolutely. I think what we know about travel is that it definitely impacts the performance usually. So I think if they're focused on consistently playing in Harare, I think even from a focus perspective, their
front of
focus
their
is
fans.
solely
Yes.
in front of their fans consistently. I think especially now where Dynamos fans are really rallying around that, cry for survival basically, and also trying to make sure that they give the team the extra edge. And this team has been performing. I think we've seen definitely better performances from them. So their fans are rallying behind them. So there's last 3 games being played in Harare, major boost for Dynamos. If they had to go out to Mandawa, I think we can chalk off those possible 3 points that they would have potentially lost going out to Shawani.
Right. So just, was it 3 weeks ago? It looked all rosy for Dynamos after they beat Caps United in the Harare derby. There were lots of messages that came on the show. The obituaries for Caps United were written, and Dynamos fans thought that they had the wind in their sails.
Imagine,
and Caps
and I
United
was telling them.
was going down.
I was telling
but
them.
what a difference 2 weeks has made, because Caps United have taken another huge leap in
2
ring
wins
fencing
in a
their
row after
premiership
that.
status by edging Manica Diamonds 1-0 in a tense match that was played at Rufaro yesterday. Congolese import Chris Mugalu tapping home the all-important goal 5 minutes past the hour mark to take the Green Machines tally to 38 points, 4 above their opponents, who now occupy, of course, the last relegation spot. You can hear Alois already. I told them. And Alois, you must be quietly satisfied, because it looked like the spirits, the mood, everything was down with Caps United after the derby defeat. But they have, look, I've been surprised with the manner in which they've just picked themselves up, winning against Simba Bhora and now winning against Manica Diamonds. And it's 6 points in their last 2 matches, and they're all but safe now.
Yeah, it was quite good, Mike, especially this win against Manica Diamonds, because they're a fellow struggler, making sure that you keep them down. And it was actually a brilliant performance by Caps United, I should say, especially the goal. I thought it was a very good worked out team goal that I saw players looking up, vision, lifting up their head, cutting back, and the finish was exquisite as well. He thumped it very well, and exciting times. Like you say, after the Dynamos defeat, everything was down. You know, even the goading that was coming from the blue half of the city and everything. But
it's all gone quiet now.
Yeah.
It looks like the battle is between Dynamos and the Highlanders now.
Yeah.
Because Caps United feels
so it was
safe.
brilliant.
Yeah.
It was brilliant to get those 3 points. It looks fairly safe because where they are right now, Caps United, they can even lose all 3 games and still survive. It's very possible.
How many points do you think will
Losing all 3 might not be...
not three,
mathematically, it is possible.
To
But
lose
what
all
I-
3?
Yes, mathematically
I don't think so.
can be
I
possible.
don't
9
think it's
points.
safe.
Yeah, but then the beauty of it is that there is this last game against Kwekwe. Playing.
I think just
for
win
nothing.
one to make sure.
Yeah.
Win one
Yeah.
to make sure.
Yeah.
Just to
Yeah.
be safe.
Yeah.
to get to 40 points? I think
yeah,
40 points
yeah.
makes
No,
you safe.
Yeah,
it's
40,
just a
41
comfort.
points.
It's just a comfortable place.
Yeah.
Looking down and seeing the other teams struggling down there is actually a comfortable situation.
I love
but
that.
obviously they need
Other teams
obviously they
struggling
need,
down there.
Yeah. Obviously
Right.
there's a need to win one or 2 more games to be absolutely certain of survival.
And it was also a game of character, Barry, isn't it? If you take a look at the amount of players that were missing, Tanaka Shandirwa, Kunai Benyu, Bruce Kangwa, those are important players for Caps United. They weren't there, and he rung the changes, and it worked because they held out for a win.
It did, and also once Caps United got the goal, I think the defensive solidity had to kick in because Manica Diamonds themselves, no mugs, they're a decent football side. So Caps United doing well to get this 3 points courtesy of that solitary goal. Also, when you're missing your 2/3 of your midfield in Shandiro and Kundai Benyu, and then missing your best player of the season for me, Bruce Kangwa, you are not hopeful to get a victory, but they did.
All right, 0772168045. Send us your thoughts, your views on the weekend's action in the Castle Lager Premier Soccer League. If you want to send us a tweet, we're still going to call them that, on X. Follow at ZiFM Sport. Now, the rest of the Castle Lager Premier Soccer League Matchday 31 results. Scotland and Moors in action at Rufaro Stadium on Saturday, and they played out a thrilling 1-goal game. It finished in favour of the log leaders, Scotland. A brilliant goal scored by Knowledge Musona, assisted by his younger brother Walter Musona, and Scotland winning that game. And this is the game, Chris, that a lot of people were looking at, especially the chasing pack, and thinking, you know, if there's a team that could disturb Scotland, if there's a team that could just throw the cat amongst the pigeons, perhaps it was Moors, but it was not to be. The clinical efficiency of Scotland winning the day, and Moors just not able to get a goal.
I think we were also just relying from that rivalry that they had in Division 1 to say, you know what, this is going to be a tense game and Moors can pull anything in this particular game. But unfortunately, it wasn't the case. I think Scotland at this point has almost rallied enough firepower in their arsenal that they're able to just carry on, get the wins, and that's what they managed to do here. 1-0 or not, which is a typical Tundira Ndiraya scoreline, they've managed to get the 3 points. And where they are now, it's looking like it's pretty solid for Scotland to win the league.
Absolutely.
By the way, I got it right, yeah?
Yeah,
1-0 Scotland.
1-0,
yeah,
yes,
you did.
I got it wrong. 2-2 draw at Barbourfields. It became 1-1. Just slightly wrong.
Barry got that one correct.
Yes,
You did the
I
1-1.
got that
You
one
got
right.
Oh, you got the 1-1 correct.
You
Yeah,
got the 1-1
yes.
correct. But Barry Moore's unlucky. For
Moore's
me,
very
the
unlucky.
better side.
Yeah.
Played all the football. There was a time when I thought I was watching a Europe-based team.
Mate.
The build-ups, the comfut on the ball.
Mate.
The way that just... it was
The technical
beautiful
ability
to
of their
watch.
Technical ability was impressive.
You wouldn't have thought... For me, looking at Moors, and I'm thinking, I think I asked you a couple of times, how do they not have a single player in the national team?
In the national team.
Yeah.
It was hard to see why a player, like apart from Martin Mapisa, who's in the national, and in truth, Martin Mapisa made a claim to be Zimbabwe's number 1 because he pulled off some.
Let's be honest,
stunning
he's
saves.
better than Chibese.
Oh, certainly. That puts him up the
If it's about Man of the Match awards, he doesn't come close to Chipis.
He does.
Because he picks them up with regularity.
Chibese is a short stopper.
But
He's not a team goalkeeper. He's a short
Mate, I
stopper.
wanna
He
talk
plays for
about-
Minos, where you are barraged and you are saving and you're man of the match. You get it?
But I'll tell you something,
you have
Chipis
to.
is though.
Huh?
I'm more comfortable with him with his ball at his feet than with the Washington.
Agreed.
Washington just
Agreed.
loses every
But they
ball
both, they
he
both
kicks.
kick them forward.
Yeah, but
Chipese has got better technique.
Yeah,
though.
he's
Yeah,
better.
agreed.
Yeah,
He's
he
got
can
better
at
technique.
least find a man.
But
Yes.
Martin Mapisa, what a game!
Martin Mapisa, what a game! You look at Abu Bakar Moffat.
That boy, we talked about him.
We talked
did.
about what an educated left foot, and he's the drummer of the band because he keeps the tempo, he keeps the
national
the team
team
playing.
material.
And then he sort of offloads to Mchikambizi Diziri, who then picks those if there's a long pass on. Mate,
What a
Dizzy
well-coached side.
This is busy, guys. This has got energy.
Very industrious player.
Very
But
industrious.
with Moors, you've got to
Dizzy.
appreciate that they're very well-coached
Well-coached.
side.
And well conditioned.
Yeah, very brilliant. I enjoyed their play, Moors, and
my ribs are actually sore because Mike kept elbowing me.
Hey,
What?
I don't know. There were times when the ball was no. Anyway, the rest of your results: Yada and ZPC Kariba 1-0 draw at the Hart Stadium. At Mandava, FC Platinum's woeful second half of the season continues. They were upended by Tel 1-0. Greenfield, like we said, thumping 5-0 victors over Quaker United at the Greenfield Arena in the Lowveld. While Ngezi Platinum Stars had to come from behind to edge out champions Simba Bhora 2-1 at the Barber. Bad result, that one, for Simba Bhora, as the advantage now firmly rests with Scotland Maviravira, who are enjoying a 6-point lead at the top of the table. And if you take a look at goal difference, it looks like just 3 points will do the business now for Scotland to be crowned champions in their maiden season in top flight football here in Zimbabwe. And then Chicken Inn going down to Gibo and winning 1-0 in a relegation 6-pointer. The result see Chicken Inn climb to 11th on 36 points. So they've created at least a bit of breathing room between themselves and the teams in the relegation dogfight. So there's still all to play for, especially at the bottom of the table. The next match day is going to be moving day. It's going to be an interesting, that one, because any team that loses there will be all sorts of pressure.
But going back,
into
Mike,
the
going
last
back
two
to the
games.
Dynamo, going back to the Dynamo, I actually think that it's better for Dynamos playing FC Platinum. Ask me why. Playing FC Platinum last game. You ask me why off the air.
Nah, man.
From the front